Um, Again, my name is Nancy Brewington, and I love to talking about visions and helping people to accomplish their goals. So we want to start this new year on your visions and goals. And I like to say, allow your visions to shine so they can guide you to achieving your greatest dreams that can your heart can envision. And that's what it's going to be all about as we're going to go ahead and talk on this subject. A lot of us they don't want to do goal settings, they don't want to do visionings, and they just kind of live life day by day. And we're finding that when you do that, a lot of people are very disappointed, especially if you're not accomplishing things, and they get very sad and very depressed and also very stressed out. So hopefully that as we go through this presentation, that you'll learn some techniques, learn some of the whys and understandings so that you can start setting goals if you have it and understanding the whole matrix of setting goals and what it's all about. So during this presentation, it's meant to help you to understand the power of the subconscious mind and to help you to understand techniques that can help you give you insight on how to achieve your goals and to create better opportunities to fulfilling your purpose. A lot of times, like I said, a lot of times we go through life with not feeling we don't have a purpose in life. We all do. And sometimes we get so busy and doing other things that we forget to live our purpose and we forget to how to achieve our purpose. And so hopefully we will be able to get a lot of that done today. So during this presentation, we're going to go ahead, it's a little bit of an introduction. We'll do a guided meditation. Usually I do the meditation in the end, but we're going to actually do one in the beginning and then one at the end. We're going to also talk about the who, you, what is you, as far as a lot of times people, when they set goals, they don't consider themselves. They consider exterior things. They consider what's going on around them. But the most important thing with setting goals is to consider the who, you. We're going to understand what is the difference between a vision versus a goal. And then we're going to talk about the benefits of setting goals and how to set goals. And then we're going to end again with a meditation and then Q&A and conclusion. So let's get started. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of guide you through a guided meditation. And this meditation, it really is about envisioning your future. So I would like for you to get, I see somebody in the chat. So what I would like for you to do is while sitting down, if you're at work or you may be at home, and I want you to get into a comfortable position. Your feet should be planted on the floor. Your back should be erect up against your chair, your hands in the lap. And what I would like for you to do is to go ahead and take some nice deep breaths in, some cleansing breath. Take a nice breath in, inhaling on a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now just breathing at your own pace, just some nice cleansing breath. And what I want you to do is to really envision what your life is going to be like in 3 years. I want you to think about where it is that you want to be and what you want to be doing in the next in 3 years. What does it look like? What does your life look like at that time? What are you doing? And who is around you? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Using all of your senses, what does it look like? Do you see yourself taking a trip? Do you see yourself starting a new career? Do you see yourself starting a family? Whatever vision that you have, I want you to see in your mind's eye what it looks like. As you just nicely and calmly breathing in and exhaling, I want you to embrace this vision. And as you're looking at it and you actually touch it, how does it feel? So I want you to take your time as far as open your eyes and bring yourself back into the present moment. I want you to embrace those thoughts. And even if you're at your desk, I want you to go ahead and write down that vision that you have, what it is that you're feeling, what is it that you're thinking about for your future life in the next 3 years. Okay, now that you have it written down, we're going to go ahead and get started. Envision it, dream it, and give yourself the permission to envision a you that you choose to be. A lot of times we don't do that. We enter into careers, we enter into lifestyles, not because of what it is that we want to do. It may be something else that somebody else had a purpose that they feel we should be living, or a vision that we should be living for them. But the most important step is to give yourself permission to envision your future and what does it look like. Understanding the who. Sometimes when you're creating a vision or a goal, like I said, give yourself permission. Because sometimes we don't consider ourselves. We focus on the planning, the what, the tasks, the dates, and etc. And we forget the who. We forget to consider who we are at our core, what attributes we have that would give us, to help us achieve a goal, and which attributes may be created that could be an obstacle. And so we need to understand the who's and who we are, our weaknesses and our strengths. Those items can cause us obstacles in achieving our goals. Sometimes if you feel that you're a person that cannot manage money, and guess what? That mindset that you have, you can't manage money, you're not going to be able to ever to be the person to take trips and to do a lot of different things because you have a mindset of I can't do this. And when you have a mindset of that, then you're already putting up obstacles on accomplishing a lot of different things that you want to do in the near future. And I want to ask you if you could just raise your hand on the thing or just say yes. But how many of you have a vision of what you would like to look like or be in the next 1 to 3 years? Just just say yes, me, no. You say yes, you say no. I haven't even thought about it. Please share that with me. And if you want to, you go ahead and take yourself off of mute and let me know. You're still unsure. Well, are you unsure of what a vision is, or what it is that you want to accomplish, or are you still trying to explore what it is that you want to accomplish?
For starters, I would like to be retired in the next 3 years.
Okay, well then that's a vision. That's what your vision is, and one of the other things you want to see yourself. Now the question is, what do you see yourself as being retired? And so that is the key point. Is what you see yourself in 3 years, and then the other question is, what does it look like? What does it look like being retired? What does it feel like being retired? And that is a vision. That is your vision. And right now, you're trying to explore what you would like to accomplish. So that's the key thing. And exploring what you can accomplish, first you have the vision of what it is you would like to accomplish. And that is why we started off with this vision meditation. Because when you're doing a vision meditation, you're looking what it's going to be looking like in the next 3 years. Are you going to be on a cruise, and is that cruise going to be going to the Caribbean? And during that time frame, you're going to see yourself drinking mojitos and mamas and all the other exotic drinks, and just walking along the beach and feeling the sand against your toes. And
That all sounds good.
yeah, and that is a vision, and sometimes we limit ourselves on that vision. We just say, I want to go on a cruise. Okay, what does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? When you start putting in all of your senses into your vision, and then it becomes more of a reality. And that is what it's all about, is seeing it in your mind's eye. And then when your mind is seeing that vision that you're creating, it's going to do everything it possibly can to make that happen. That is how your brain works. By having that vision, you're telling your brain, this is what I want this to look like. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
And as I'm trying to go through these slides, so we're going to talk about visions versus goals. Envisioning, and that's what we just did, and we even talked about, and I thank those of you who for sharing. You want to envision what it is, what it's going to look like. And so why some people say, why do I need a vision? Why do I need to go out there, and what do you need? What do you want? And we're going to explore each one of these and what would be your best life and how that would look like. And then we're going to plan backwards. And then, are you really committed to changing your life? Why do you need a vision? Just like I said, you need a vision so that you can kind of put into place to your mind and everything what it is that you want to accomplish. And because of that, by having that vision, you're you're telling your whole being, your mind and your body and your spirit, you're telling every part of you that success, that you're going to be able to achieve it. Because when you do something and you say that in your mind, it has to make it happen, because that is the thought process that you're making within yourself. A lot of times, a lot of people, they don't have a vision because they may have said, well, it doesn't work, and I never accomplished anything. And you start putting a lot of negative things, and guess what? That is what your brain is going to interpret. That is what your brain is going to say. Well, you're already telling me I'm going to fail. You're saying I can't do this. So guess what? Your brain cannot give you a positive and a negative at the same time. So guess what? Anything that you're thinking negatively towards your vision, that negative part is going to be accomplished. So that is what you're telling your brain. You say, I'm never going to be able to handle my finances to go on that long trip. And guess what? Your brain's going to say, okay, you can't. Well, you won't. So what you do is by having a vision of what you want to accomplish, that your brain and everything else you're going to do from that point on is going to go ahead and try to do its best to make it a success. And that is what you want. And a lot of, so you have to think about being mindful in everything and all of your thoughts and everything that you want to accomplish. What do you want? What really matters? Not what should matter or what does matter. What it is that's going to make it more of it in your life. Set aside money for a moment. What do you want in your career? Okay, a lot of people, they stay stuck in a career. They don't plan vacations. They don't plan anything because they get stuck at the moment on money. Yes, money is a key factor, but when you have a vision of something that you want to accomplish, you're going to go ahead and put into motion what it's going to need to do. And that's what we're going to talk about in goals a little bit later on. But what the most important thing is what it is that you want and putting that down, writing it down and putting it on a sticky note everywhere you go so that you have a constant reminder. And what would bring more joy and happiness in your life? But who wants to live life miserable? I don't think I do. And what do you want your relationships to be like? If you don't say and put into place what it is that you want, you're going to accept anything and everything, and it's not what you want. So that is why you want to have a vision on what it is that you want. What would your best life look like? Whenever you're looking at your vision, what would it look like? I mean, like I said, you don't want to go ahead and say, it's never going to happen, it's never going to work. And then what happens, that kind of lifestyle lives in despair. Now, who wants to be in despair? Sometimes we get into such a loop of disparity that we don't accomplish anything because we get caught up in that loop. So that's why, what would your best life look like? What does it smell like? What does it look like? What does it feel like? That is what you want to have. And doing a meditation every morning on your vision of what you want it to look like. Every morning, you're going to look at what do I want to accomplish in 3 years? And think about that. And then later, think about what is my day going to look like? Because each day that you live and you think about it, it's going to help you to accomplish what your 3 years is going to look like. And once you have that vision of what it is you want to accomplish in 3 years, and say, for instance, you like the beach walk, you'd be in the Caribbean and having it warm, and especially, well, today it's not too bad, but tomorrow maybe a little chilly out there. But what that future is going to look like for you, and now you want to go on a cruise, and not only do you want on a cruise for a 3-day cruise, no, 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 we don't want a 3-day cruise. We don't want a 1-week cruise. We want a 2-week Caribbean, hitting every Caribbean island cruise. And so in order to do that, you have to plan backwards. You have to plan what it's going to take to do that and how you're going to be able to accomplish it. And what is the last thing that you will have to happen in order to achieve that best life? And what important choices you would have to make in order to accomplish that. You want that 2-week cruise. Hey, I want the month one, okay? But what important actions would you have to take in order to accomplish that 2-week cruise? I mean, how many of you can show in the chat, how many of you have actually planned something like you have always envisioned maybe taking a 2-week vacation away from the madness? And how many of you have actually accomplished it? It may sound nice, oh, that you want it. Now that you want it, how do you accomplish it? That is the key. And that's when you start planning backwards. So you had that 2-week cruise, just start planning it and moving backwards. Let's make that happen, okay? Now, the key question is, are you ready? Are you ready to commit and change your life? That is the test frame, and that is the key question that you have to ask yourself. So if you had written down what your vision is that you seeing yourself in 3 years, now my next question is to you, are you committed to make a change in your life so that you can accomplish it? Now, here's our next question, and please respond in the chat. How many of you have set goals of what they would like to being able to accomplish? How many of you set goals? And if you say no, I'm gonna ask you why not. So if you just take a few minutes and put in the chat, how many of you have set goals and what would you like to accomplish? Okay, we got one yes, and so I am going to assume that everybody else who didn't say anything, get rid of debt. Amen. Okay, I understand that. I understand that. And you got rid of your debt. That's great. And you reached your fitness goals and paid off debt. I am so happy to see that. Now, now you got yourself in the best physical fitness. I want to ask you the next question. How long had it lasted? Has it lasted a year, a few months, or are you still doing that? You just share with me. You can take yourself off of mute or share in the chat.
Right now, I'm looking to get back into it. After COVID, I did kind of stop going to like the gym and started eating a little bit worse. But
Mhm.
I'm planning to kind of set my meals and everything starting next week.
Okay, great. Now, my question is, what are you working on in order to accomplish that? And what is your end goal? What do you see yourself? I mean, to get physically fit, but what do you see yourself in order to say, well, I just want to get physically fit? Because if you don't have a vision, and this is to everybody, if you don't have the vision of what it's going to look like in 3 years, guess what? You may not get back on that horse and ride it again. Or then once you do get on it, you may find out that, eh, eh, oh well, I did it for this and I got it. I'm okay now. To be healthy in order to enjoy time, and that is a good thing. So when you're looking at that, that is what you want to do. Working in progress with fitness so that you can enjoy your retirement. Now, my next question is to you, and this is something you can think about, or if you want to share, what does your retirement looks like? You know? Okay, good, good. To hold yourself accountable. That is so much of a good thing. Having somebody helping you to be accountable. Okay, great. So one of the things that you want to do is by the vision board has been really good for a lot of people because it allows you to sit down and put what you visioning yourself in your mind's eye and putting it on a piece of paper, putting on this real big board. And then that kind of gives you something to be accountable for. And the other thing that we're going to go ahead and talk about is setting goals, relaxing and traveling, and maybe volunteering. I did that after I retired from the military. I was relaxing and I did a lot of volunteering, and then after about 4 or 5 years, went back to school, become a nurse, and 15 years later, I have a business. Oh, great. Thank you. I'm excited. And sometimes a goal is not always meant, and Bruce Lee said that, but it serves you something to aim at. A lot of times, a lot of people, they don't set goals because that's never going to happen. It's this and that. But it gives you a target. It gives you something to strive. And then one of the nice things is that during your planning process, just like you tried right before COVID to eat well and exercise, and then COVID happened, and a lot of us just dropped off, and because of the stress and everything else that went on during COVID, we didn't navigate in a very productive way. And instead of relying on the gym or something like that, we were so stressed that we didn't think about anything else. And we're so stressed because everything is closed down. And because of the pandemic, it kind of put us into not only a lockdown physically as far as our activities, but it also put us into a lockdown mentally. And so that is why setting goals, because if you have an obstacle, like for instance, COVID, if you have an obstacle, what do you do when you go traveling on a vacation? When you're on a vacation and you got that roadblock or the road is down, you go ahead and take a detour. And that detour may take you off the beaten path for a little bit, but at the same time, it will go ahead and get you back on track as long as you have something that you want to aim for. So you did, thank you for sharing that you did get off track, but guess what? You're back on track because your aim is to go ahead and get into that best physical fitness person that you envisioning yourself and seeing yourself in the near future. So that is a good thing. Create the rule in which you want to be. Sometimes we live by the rules of somebody else. But guess what? You need to create your own rule. You're gonna, what you're aiming for, change the scenario. And that is your prerogative. You could do this. So let's talk about goal setting. Goal setting is kind of like the building blocks. It's you putting out what you want to do and project how you want to achieve it. And then you make a plan and you're achieving it in your work, and you work towards completing it. And that's really what setting goals are. I know a lot of people, they say, I'm not setting goals. I'm not going to do a New Year's resolution because it doesn't work. And they've already set themselves up for failure. You should always set goals. Let's say, for instance, you set goals for 3 years. And each year, you set up something different that's going to help you to achieve that goal and get you closer. So if you're on year one of your goal setting, that's good. In the next 3 years, you want to take that 2-week cruise. So now you're setting into place by setting up the goals and what it's going to take. Um, will it take financial planning? Will it take getting your family in order to say, hey, I'm gone? Will it take, at the same time when you're doing that, will you be working, and how are you going to take care of, not working for 2 weeks? And so you're going to have to really, put that all into play. And while you're envisioning that 2-week cruise, how do you want to look? Do you want to wear that bikini, or you want to wear that bathing suit, or how do you want to look when you're taking that cruise? So that's all the different things that you want to do when you're visioning what's going to happen in the next 3 years. And so when you put that all into place and you write everything down, and like we did in the meditation, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? When you write all of those things down, guess what? That's when you start setting your goals on how you're going to be able to accomplish it. As we said, think about the results. What is you want to see? Before you set a goal, take a closer look at it, what you're trying to achieve. And think about it. Is this something that you want, or is it something that somebody else wants? heard so many times in the past where people say, well, I'm going on this, I'm going to become, let's say for instance, a doctor because my great grandfather was a doctor and my grandfather was a doctor and my dad is a doctor and I can do nothing else but be a doctor. Now the question is that something that you want or is that something that you're doing because somebody else feels that that's what you should be doing? And then also, how much time is it going to take to be able to accomplish that? And are you willing to put in the time? Because if it may not, if you feel, I want that bikini, but you're not a bikini body person, then you set your goals for something else that's going to make you that way. Because if you can set yourself to be a bikini wearing person in 3 years, but you just don't have the bikini body, then you have two choices. You could go ahead and set the goals to say, I will be able to wear this and be comfortable in it, or I will wear that bikini and wear the dickens out of it, okay? And look good while I'm doing it. But if you feel that in order for me to wear that bikini, I'll have to lose 30, 40, 50 pounds, and you don't set a goal to put physical fitness in that as a part of your plan, guess what? You may not accomplish it as well as you would like to. So in everything that you're envisioning, you have to kind of set plans on, is this realistic? Is this achievable? Can I do it? And then put that onto plan. And if you kind of, when you're doing that and it kind of says, nope, not really, then you may have to go back to the drawing board, but that's okay. So what you want to do is start creating what we call SMART goals. And once you zero in what it is that you really want, you start your SMART goals. Okay. Now, a lot of people have a hard time, and I tell you, up until about a few years ago, I also had a hard time. What do you mean specific and measurable and attainable and realistic and time bound? Well, let's think about it. If you don't have a vision, it can't be specific. You just don't know what it is that you really want. So you have to be detailed. So we're going to use the example of I'm going to say the 2-week cruise. You want to say in 3 years, I want to be able to take a 2-week cruise. And in that time frame, I want to be able to afford to take that 2-week cruise where I'm not working, so my bills will still be able to be taken care of. And I will be able to walk the beach and go to different shops and go shopping and everything. And so you kind of outlining what it is that you want. Now, in doing that, you're going to have to kind of say in 3 years, can you measure it? So let's say, for instance, the financial part of it. Now you're going to have to break it down even further. I am making this amount of money, and at the end of the month, I have zero money for savings. And that may already get you stopped into setting goals because you say, hey, I can't go on that trip if I don't have no money at the end of the month. Well, then that's when you set yourself up for a financial goal. And your financial goal would be that I am going to work on being able to save at least $40 a month. And how would you be able to do that? That's when you start getting into measurable. Then you're going to go ahead and set up a financial plan and get you some help with somebody who can help you to budget your money. And that may be a hard thing for some people to say, budget. Oh my gosh, I don't want to budget. I don't like budgeting. But if you see that goal of being on the beach for 2 weeks in 3 years, guess what you're going to do? You're going to learn how to budget because now you're setting in your mind, we're going on this trip. And your mind is saying, okay, we need to go and set up our financials. We're setting aside $40 a month to being able to accomplish this trip that we're going to do in 3 years for 2 weeks vacation. And that's when you start making it attainable because now you're setting it down on a piece of paper Because before you went to see somebody to help you with that financial goal, it wasn't attainable because you just had zero money at the end of the month and you didn't budget. So now when you're talking to a financial counselor or somebody, they helped you to make it attainable, that you're gonna not spend so much money at Starbucks, you're gonna make your own lunch, take it to work, and still be very delicious. So you're saving $20 from going out and going to Starbucks and getting a coffee and getting a sandwich at McDonald's because you're making your own nice meal. So now you're making it attainable because now you're changing how you're doing things. And at the same time, is it realistic? Once you set these goals into place, it can be realistic. But then if you say, I can't really, I've tapped out everything, so maybe not $40, maybe $20, and that's okay, but maybe not 3 years, maybe 4 or 5 years. So that's what you want to do when you start setting your goals, is making sure that you can do it. If, and say for instance, again, if you want to take that cruise and you need your finances needs to get a little bit more and sync, then that's when you need to go ahead and make it, make change things a little bit. Not to say it doesn't have to happen, just change things a little bit. Make it more realistic for where you are right now at this particular situation. And when you're doing that, of course, when you're starting this whole process out, make sure that you're doing enough research and just don't go out there and do it. I had one client, she wanted to run a marathon, a 5K, 5K a marathon. Never ran a life, never ran a day in her life. The first day after she made that resolution, she decided to go out there and run 2.5K. She was hurting, she injured herself. And it wasn't realistic because she wanted to do that 5K in that race in 3 months. It wasn't very realistic for her. She was, so she didn't set her plan. She didn't plan. She just went out there and did. So that's one of the things you need to do, is to go ahead and make sure that whatever you're setting yourself up for, that it is realistic, and set your time for it. She set 3 months to go ahead and run a 5K, and she never ran a day in her life. It was a nice goal, but so whenever you're setting your goals, you want to make sure that it is smart, that you are deep, going through your research and making sure that it's specific. If you want to do 5K, that's okay. 5K is good. And how you're going to achieve it, and make sure that it's realistic. Okay, so are there any questions or anything on the SMART goals? Has any of you done SMART goals before? Okay. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to look at these comments we have here. Good, good. And if you need any help with setting up for I think the person that's wanting to start their own business, you could go ahead and definitely email me, and I will be able to help you with that. So we're going to go ahead and start our meditation. And this is more of an ending meditation. We talked about visions and goal setting. And we, in the beginning, we started setting out on our vision quest, I like to say. And what I would like for us to do, for those of you who did not really have a vision of what they would like to be able to accomplish or see themselves in the next 3 years, I want you to take this opportunity now to do that. And for those of you who have have the vision, I want you now to kind of see what your day-to-day activities would be in order to accomplish that. So please go ahead and get yourself seated in a nice, comfortable position. Feet is planted on the floor, nice. I want you to have your hands gently in your lap, and we're going to go ahead and get started with this guided meditation. And as you are inhaling nice and deep and exhaling, I want you to allow yourself the freedom of seeing what your life is going to be like in 3 years. What is your vision that you see yourself in 3 years? What would your life be like in 3 years? What do you see yourself doing in 3 years? And as you have that picture in your mind, I want you to explore it even deeper. What does it look like? What it is you see yourself doing? Who do you see yourself sharing it with? Who do you see in your life? Your friends, your family, your co-workers. What do they all look like in this vision? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? If you're visioning yourself doing a trip, do you smell the water, the sea? Do you smell the grass after the morning dew? What does it feel like? Do you see yourself happy, fulfilled, accomplishing so much? What does it feel like? As you take deeper and deeper breaths and exhale, exhale any negative thoughts that you may have that can prevent you from accomplishing this goal. As you inhale, inhale all the possibilities of what it can be done, how many lives that you're going to be able to impact as you accomplish this goal. And just relish this thought and this process. And if you feel you need to make a change, it's okay. Change is good. But always keep your eyes on the vision. And as we get ready to close, I want you to think about what your day is going to look like tomorrow when you get up. What is your day going to look like? When you go to work, you see your coworkers, you're going to drive to work. What is it going to look like? How are you going to feel? Because the next day and each day after is a day closer to you accomplishing your vision. And do that every morning. And if you need someone to help you, get you an accountability partner and see who that person is to help you to accomplish your journey. As we close, gently open your eyes and feel refreshed because now you're getting closer and closer to achieving your goal. In conclusion, are there any questions?